Welcome to Life Unpacked, the weekly podcast designed to help you navigate the everyday with more clarity, purpose, and intention. In each episode, we take the challenges, questions, and experiences that shape our lives and unpack them layer by layer. Through honest conversations and elevated perspectives, we explore practical insights that can help you grow, think differently, and create a better, more fulfilling life. Whether you're looking for direction, inspiration, or simply a moment to pause and reflect, Life Unpacked is your space to reset and rise. Together, we'll dig deep, open up new ways of seeing the world, and empower you to live each day with more confidence, balance, and meaning. Today, we're charting a course through the path of true discipleship, exploring how we move from a simple connection to meaningful action. We often hear about the importance of faith, but how do we move beyond just an intellectual knowledge of God, what scholars call Gnosis, to a deep, experiential relationship known as Epignosis? We're going to look at the 4 critical stages of this journey: building a foundation by abiding in the vine, meeting the requirement of obedience, producing the fruit of honorable conduct, and ultimately, fulfilling our purpose to glorify God. If you've ever felt like your spiritual life was connected, but not necessarily close, this episode is for you. Let's dive in.
Today, we have something really special. We're looking at a really profound sermon.
A powerful one. It was delivered at Life International Church in Durban, South Africa. And it focuses on these huge concepts of abiding, obedience, and love.
Right. And our mission today is to really unpack the logic of it, because it argues that real assurance, it doesn't just come from what you believe.
No, not at all. It comes from the very visible and often challenging act of obedience. So we're going to explore that difference between knowing about God and, truly experiencing Him.
And how that experience absolutely demands action. I love that focus.
Yeah.
The sermon sets it up right away, making it clear that this idea of abiding isn't passive at all. It's active.
Yeah.
And it's built on that metaphor from John 15.
Exactly. That imagery is just foundational. I am the true vine, my Father is the vine dresser, and you are the branches. It establishes this unbreakable structure of dependence.
You have to stay connected.
You have to. And the sermon is really quick to point out the 2 areas where that connection gets tested the most: obedience, and then this difficult process of pruning.
And before it even gets into the really thorny parts of obedience, there's this moment of grace right at the top. It's almost like an assurance for the listener.
It is. It's like a bit of preemptive pastoral care, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're told right from the start not to confuse our brokenness for uselessness.
Which is so easy to do.
So easy.
Yeah.
You feel like because you're struggling, you're disqualified. But the sermon emphasizes that, through help and grace, we're still beautiful, we're still usable and capable. You don't start this journey perfect. You start it knowing you're valued.
That's a necessary starting point, because the very next thing it tackles is, maybe the hardest spiritual idea of all: total dependence. It all hinges on that one line from John 15.5, "Without me, you can do nothing."
That statement is the linchpin. Absolutely. The sermon argues that while everybody, intellectually they want to obey, nobody decides they want to fail, it's still one of the most difficult positions for us.
So what makes it so hard? Is it just that the commands are big, or is there something deeper going?
Oh, it's deeper. It's a fundamental conflict with our own nature. The speaker is really blunt about it. Our default setting is rebellion. Your flesh will always rise up. So obedience means surrendering your personal sovereignty, your right to choose your own path, your own comfort. It's his constant friction.
That reframes it completely. It's not rule following. It's an ongoing act of surrender. And this is where the sermon pulls in the epistle of 1 John to connect that internal struggle to, our external assurance.
And this part is just vital. It moves assurance away from being just a feeling and into the realm of actual evidence. It lives at 1 John 2, and the bar is set incredibly high.
So how do we know?
The way we know that we truly know him is if we keep his commandments.
And the implication for those who claim to know but don't act on it, that's what's so jarring.
It is. The text is explicit. The person who says, "I know God," but doesn't keep the commandments is called a liar.
Wow. No middle ground there. No. Well, I meant well.
None. If the knowledge is real, it has to produce action. So obedience, it perfects the love of God. It becomes the visible proof.
The fruit on the branch?
Precisely. It's the result of being connected. Those who abide in him, the text says, ought himself also to walk just as he walked. The fruit has to look like the source.
That's a perfect setup to then explore the nature of knowledge itself, which the sermon does by drawing this really clean line between knowing of him and actually experientially knowing him.
Yes, using the Greek terms Gnosis and Epignosis. A crucial distinction. We can go right back to the vine analogy here.
Okay.
A broken branch, it could be lying right on the ground next to the vine. It has perfect gnosis. It knows the vine's shape, its color, its texture. It's running parallel to it.
But it's not connected.
It's not connected. So it's not getting any life. No water, no nutrients, proximity, observation, all useless without connection.
And the sermon uses a modern analogy for this, right, to make it more relatable.
A brilliant one. It uses a celebrity. I think the example was Angelina Jolie. We all know of her. We know her face, her history. We see her social media, her films. You can read every biography.
So you have extensive gnosis. You have a ton of knowledge about her.
A ton of it.
Yeah.
But you don't know her.
No.
You don't have that experiential knowledge, the epignosis. You've never sat next to her or shared a struggle. You haven't built a relationship.
And that gap between having all this intellectual knowledge but zero relational depth, that's where a lot of people are in their faith.
Absolutely. And here's the central, really groundbreaking insight from the sermon.
What is it?
Obedience is the bridge. Obedience is what connects the branch to the vine. It's the proof that we've moved from that intellectual gnosis to the experiential epignosis. Our obedience gives us the very assurance that we're truly connected.
So assurance isn't a feeling, it's the fruit. It's measured by action.
Exactly.
Okay, so if obedience is the measure of love, let's look at how the sermon unpacks that famous scene after the resurrection in John 21. It ties love directly to command.
Yeah, this scene is so layered. Jesus is making breakfast on the beach for the disciples, and Peter, who has just denied Jesus 3 times, is there.
Right.
But before the big questions, the sermon points out this fascinating little detail. Jesus addresses him as Simon, son of Jonah. He uses his old name.
His old identity. Pre-Peter, pre-rock. Why would he do that? Remind him of his failure right at the moment of restoration.
The sermon sees it as grace, but grace wrapped in truth. It shows Peter was still able to mess up. The denial was real, and yet Jesus still came back for him. It's this powerful message that God doesn't give up on us, even when we feel like we're back to our old Simon nature.
That context makes the 3 questions even more intense. Jesus isn't just asking a simple thing here.
Not at all. He's navigating Peter's own limitations in love. And you have to look at the original Greek words here. The first 2 times Jesus asks, "Do you agape me?"
Which is that unconditional God kind of love.
A perfect self-sacrificial kind. And Peter, knowing he just failed that standard spectacularly, he can't say yes to that. So he answers, "I phileo you."
Brotherly love. Affection. He's answering in a lesser, safer language.
Precisely. He's being honest about where he is. But then the 3rd time, Jesus changes the question. He meets Peter where he is and asks, "Do you even phileo me?"
And that's what grieves Peter. He thinks Jesus is doubting even his basic affection.
Right. But the sermon's point is that Jesus was pushing Peter toward realizing that agape love is the destination. Because if you can get to that unconditional agape love, then you're walking after his commandments.
Because agape isn't just a feeling, it's the engine for the kind of obedience Jesus is demanding.
Yes, and we see that immediately. Love produces these tangible instructions. It's a job description.
Right. He's given 3 specific commands.
And they're beautifully layered. The first is, feed my lambs. This is the young ones, the immature, as the sermon says, the loose ones. They need basic care.
Spiritual milk.
Exactly. Pasture them, tend to them. Then the second command shifts, tend my sheep. These are the mature ones, people with understanding.
So it's a different kind of care. Less basic feeding, more oversight.
Right, watching over them, guarding them. And then the third command seems to wrap it all up, feed my sheep. It's holistic. And what's interesting is a little side comment the sermon makes about this.
About how churches separate their groups.
Yeah. If the command is to care for everyone, lambs and sheep together, the sermon warns that our modern practice of heavily separating groups, youth, men's, ladies, it can actually become dysfunctional, even if it's done for good reasons. The ideal is integrated care for the whole body.
That takes us back to instruction. I mean, if Peter, who walked with Jesus, still needed specific commands, what does that say about us?
It says the pure revelation isn't enough. It has to be grounded in actionable instruction. We see this so powerfully with Saul, later Paul, on the road to Damascus.
He has the ultimate direct encounter.
The ultimate, blinding light, voice from heaven. And he asked the perfect question, "Lord, what would you have me do?"
And Jesus doesn't just download the plan to him right there.
Nope. He delegates. He says, "Go and it will be told to you what you should do. Then he sends a man, Ananias, to deliver the instructions. The principle is clear. Abiding requires obedience under instruction and accountability. Otherwise, even the biggest revelation can go astray.
Unguided action can get you cut off the vine.
That's the risk.
So we've established that knowing him requires obedience, and obedience requires instruction. Now, let's talk about the final result. What does all this produce that the outside world can actually see?
For that, we turn to 1 Peter 2.12. The sermon explains that true abiding, that instructed obedience, it produces honorable conduct among the Gentiles.
And Gentiles here means the outsiders, the non-believers, the people who might even be hostile to your faith community.
Precisely. The actions aren't for an internal audience. They're not for praise inside the church walls. They have to be visible and honorable to the very people who might see you as an evildoer.
Why is that so critical? What does their observation of this conduct actually do?
Because that observation of your good works is the very mechanism by which they will glorify God. When your honorable actions completely contradict the negative things they expect or say about you, it forces them to look beyond you, to the source of your action. It shatters their narrative. The glory goes up.
So what here? The ultimate point is to be a conduit for that glory.
It's the ultimate purpose. Our singular objective is to make sure people glorify God, and that happens through our visible, honorable actions. If the branch is truly connected, the fruit will be so good, so different, that people will recognize the source. Our obedience isn't a burden. It's actually a vital part of our assurance that we truly know God.
Which brings it all full circle. Knowing him requires obedience, and that obedience produces observable, loving action towards everyone, lambs and sheep alike. And that action is the final proof of the connection.
It is. And if we take that final nugget that our actions must be honorable among the Gentiles, the people who aren't like us, it forces a really personal question for you, the listener.
A provocative thought to end on.
Exactly. In what specific actions, visible to those completely outside your immediate circle, are you demonstrating the depth of your experiential knowing?
Some real food for thought on that path of instructed obedience.
Thank you once again for joining us, and we hope that this summary has encouraged you. Until next time, have a great week.
As we close today's episode, I want to leave you with a reminder that your obedience isn't just a rule to follow. It is a confirmation of your genuine connection to him. When we truly abide, it naturally results in outward actions that reflect his character, what we call fruit. Remember that the world is watching. When others observe your honorable conduct and good works, it serves as a pointer that can lead them to glorify God themselves. Our ultimate goal is to make him known. So, as you head back into your week, ask yourself, are my actions pointing others toward Jesus? Thanks for listening to Life Unpacked, and we'll see you next time as we continue to explore what truly matters and unpack life by the unfolding of God's Word.